you been wondering if these color bath tablets can be used for your science experiments? Well, let's find out. I'll talk to you about that in a bit. So yeah, that will be our science experiment for today. Again, welcome to Live with Ms. Steph. Today is VEDA, day 16, people. Y'all know when I commit to something, it happens. Alrighty then, so please excuse the shirt. No, it's not ironed. Remember I told you it's a slow week. So anywho, just in case for those who might be distracted by it, I am going to point it out, and now it's out there, and so you won't be bothered by it as much. I find that those things help me. I'm like, does this person know that such and such is going on? Yes, I know. Okay. Some of our brains are wired a bit differently than the typical brains. That being said, hi. I'm so excited to be with you today on day 16 of VEDA. Yeah, like, been moving through. Hopefully you caught my video yesterday that was about me going downtown for a quick little adventure to get my CPR certification renewed. So a bit more about that and summer camp and all those types of things. So there are various requirements. For those of you wondering about how all that stuff works, and wondering, like, do people have to have permits and all that for summer camp? Yes. Not only do we need to have permits, but we also have to have certain requirements that are met to maintain our permit. So just because we've gotten a permit in the past doesn't mean that we don't have to meet certain requirements. And so camps that are run in New York City have various things that they've met if they are quote unquote a permitted camp. And having an appropriate health director, not necessarily a healthcare professional, because our camp is on the smaller side. We don't need a healthcare professional to be able to administer medications and all that type of stuff. We still need someone who has advanced CPR training, and that's what I was doing yesterday, right? Using my slow week to be able to get in some of those trainings and get in some of the management as I look around. For those of you who don't know, yes, hi, I'm Miss Steph. I'm going to say my name again. And also, inside of my home is where I operate Science Club out of my apartment. Program is not held here, but all of the things, the trinkets, the lives, the lesson planning, the office material, all that stuff is held here currently because we have yet to procure a space. Notice how I word those things. Have yet to. It is coming. I speak with hope and excitement over that. That being said, one of the things that happens, of course, is because I'm operating at an average of 10 different locations a week, with literally 200 or so children on average, during multiple activities and doing different sites and schools and all that type of stuff. I need slow weeks like these to get myself reset. When folks do their different resets for businesses, some of them may be reviewing the numbers, like how much money did we bring in? How many students are we doing? Where are the supplies? All that types of stuff. One of the things that I have chosen to do this particular break, like I said, is get one of my trainings, because I do still need another one that I will be doing, and I, of course, will be posting about that. That won't happen until June. And also reorganizing, going through all of my supplies and making sure that they are set up in a way that functions best for me, right? Because if you've been watching, you know April 19th, this coming Saturday, in just 3 days, we have another community event. And so what does it mean to be at a community event? That particular event, I will be doing our classic, very well known and very well beloved science fun table. So young people are going to be given for free one of the 3-ounce cups of slime. If you need information on a no-fail slime recipe, I did a live on Monday. Okay, just a few days ago, I updated my slime tutorial. So go back and watch that video. And that video is organized for those who don't want to watch the Science Club news part of it. That's fine. Guess what? All you have to do is scroll down in the description box. There is information there, and it lets you know where to go to if you want to see from where the glue goes in the bowl. If you want to see me explain how the chemical reaction changes the glue molecules into borax, there's a chapter about that. And then if you just want to see the very end and just see the ta-da moment when I put in the activator and my glue mixture becomes actual slime, guess what? That is there as well. So just look for the chapters. I've been trying to do chapters on any of the videos that are longer than 10 minutes as of late. So yeah, again, welcome to Live with Ms. Steph. Today is April 16th. It's VEDA Day 16, April 16, 2025. For those of you who may be watching this in the future. And by the way, thank you. So with that Science Club news, as far as what I've been doing this week, thank you for watching. I see that somebody's on live now. Thank you ever so much for watching. We covered the Science Club news. I covered what I've been doing this week, the time that I've been taking, because someone asked me because I was like, yeah, I am having a working break. And the person was like, working break? I don't even understand what you mean by that. I'm like, well, I'm just going to be taking my time, but I'll be working on a few things that I need to get done, but I won't have any students, right? And so that's what a working break is over here. Doing the behind the scenes stuff, okay, without having the responsibility of teaching on top of that, because I am our primary educator. I'm our primary service provider. So the thing that Triple F Empowerment does, providing STEAM education, I am the primary person. I'm at all of the events. At this point in time, we don't have another primary educator, okay? We do have events where you will see volunteers who will join me, but I'm at all of the events where we're distributing any type of educational experience. And so that being said, whenever I have an opportunity to have these weeks that are slower, where we don't have students, I take the time to prep for future things, all right? Fun fact, I am already packed for Saturday. Yes? I was excited. Again, Saturday, April 19th, will be at St. Nicholas Park. For those of you wondering how you can start to come alongside of us and help us prepare for all of those events and give towards the things that are done there, I have our link in the description box already. Yes. You can check out the Ms. Steph Science Club website and get information about, just click the donate button and that will take you to a place to where you can support that. So all of that being said, let's not make this video too long. I've done a kind of a non-traditional Science Club news kind of, intro and just kind of a housekeeping rather versus Science Club news. Let's get into this unboxing. So I am always looking for materials that are easy for you all to get. You all know this video is not made for children. Okay, kids, if you're watching, hi. But my videos as of late have really been focused on empowering the adults working with our children and getting them engaged into STEAM education experiences. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So I'm always looking for different materials. And as of late, I've started saying, maybe you all would like to know how that material worked. Because I do get questions about that. Like, Ms. Steph, what do you use? Why do you use it? How are you getting all this stuff? The plethora of things from your apartment, as I just shared, over to the events. I do that from my experience in childhood of being a military brat. So I know how to pack very well. Like the stuff that we have for Saturday, I have 100 kids worth of slime as well as several other activities ready for Saturday, and it's in 2 shopping bags. Yes. Okay. As long as I don't need to bring our like tent and all that type of stuff. But that I have a cart for, and I know how to pack that. All of that being said, people ask me for my advice on the materials. Okay, so one of the materials that I look at is how can I color things, right? Because y'all know how I feel color makes life better. And we know that food coloring happens to be one of my favorite materials. And I have a variety of ways that I color things, that I add pigment to our various experiments. And so this particular thing is what I call the dollar store. And when I say dollar store, like legit, I go into Family Dollar or whatever dollar, whatever place, grab these. Okay. These are great for when you need something that's very liquidy, that is not viscous. It's not going to have a lot of overpowering pigmentation except for the blue. Anytime you use blue, you are getting a serious amount of color, and it's going to get all over the children's hands. Whatever setting you are in, if you are doing these activities at home, if you're doing them in your centers, whether that be an after school or an early childhood care center, or if you're at a school, all that stuff, right? This is something you can pick up easily. You don't have to go far away. Okay, dollar store food coloring. We're going to compare the level of pigmentation of the dollar store food coloring, how it performs just by itself with some water. Hi, thank you for watching live with Ms. Steph. We've got a few people on. I am trying these out today for y'all so you don't have to, and to kind of give you an idea of how they're going to perform in a science experiment. Okay, yes, I know it says color my bath. Now, for those of you who are just now joining me, just now starting to follow me, maybe you don't know that I use materials because I am a scientist. I have a biochemistry background. And so I have a scientific I'm able to understand the science behind the materials that I'm using. And so I know that these are safe to use for the kids, and that maybe this might work in bulk, right? Instead of me having to make a lot of mess when we're doing our experiments, maybe I want the children to be able to add their own food coloring, and I want to be able to have that still be controlled. And so that's why I might use something like this. Okay, so let's find out how it performs. We're going to start with comparing the yellow. I already told you blue is going to be intense. We already know that. Okay, so let's compare the yellow. Now, a lot of times your students may see this and go, oh, that's orange. It's so totally not. It's highly pigmented. What I tell them is that they need to look at the color of the cap. Okay, that's how I help them. Now, in here, this thing, I did get it off of Amazon. I know we have various emotions about it, but when you roll and you do a lot of stuff in bulk like I do, there are certain things that I just am not able to source on the ground. Okay, this has 300 tablets. Now, what's very interesting about these tablets, remember, this is an unboxing and a first impressions review. What's interesting about these tablets, okay, and most of the tablets, I have other tablets that I've gotten from like Steve Spangler. I've gotten these Moso Bubo tablets. So those are the tablets that we used in the STEAM starter kits over the last couple of years. So I've used different tablets, okay, for coloring, for pigmentation purposes. They typically come in 3 different colors. What's different about these is that I noticed they come in 3 different colors and 2 different sizes. And then on the side of the container, do you see it gives you information? It said it wants us to use like 1 big blue and 1 little red to get a certain kind of purple. Okay? 1 small blue and one small yellow to get a certain kind of green, right? So color mixing is scientific, and I love that the kids get to see that. Okay, and once again, $300. Now, as far as the cost of this was $16.99. I'm testing this today because I want to use these on Saturday. This is one of the few things, this is actually the only thing that's not packed for Saturday. All right. I'm testing this today because I want to see how it performs and if it's going to do what I want it to do. So not only am I going to put it in water so that you can see the side-by-side comparison of the just basic food coloring and water reaction compared to how this performs, I am also going to do a baking soda vinegar reaction with this too, okay? Because pH does change the color of these things, okay? Pigmentation shifts depending on pH, okay? Again, this is why I say these videos are geared towards the adults working with children. If my kids are watching it, hi, kids, my kids being my students. If y'all are watching it, hi, fine. This is safe for you to watch. That being said, my focus is on my fellow educators, okay? And when I say educator, I mean auntie, uncle, after school director, early childhood center director, all those things, okay? Folks who are working with young people, getting them into STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. All right, so I would say that was long-winded, but it's not. I'm going to do the chapters later, and so I already know I'm going to space this out. Let's go ahead and try these. So I was saying, because when I'm doing first impression, I really want you to hear my thinking behind using it, as well as really see me just in real time open these up and play with them and kind of look at them and analyze them. Okay, this is a pretty sturdy thing. The ones that are supposed to be the red always look purple or pink. I've yet to open these containers with these tablets and this one actually look red. So I just want to warn you, that's one thing. Okay, the other thing that's going on is, since they're all in a container like this, you see how they look like they've kind of like, touched, and if that bothers you, just be advised. They're not going to come separated, this particular product. And once again, this product is the color My Bath, right? I got it on Amazon. I'm testing it for y'all today. So I want to go with yellow. I'm going to take a small yellow and I'll do like 3 drops of food coloring, okay? So a small yellow tablet to 3 drops of yellow food coloring. I'm using 50 milliliters of water in each of the samples, okay? No, this is not this water in here. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Y'all know. This is another product that I got off of Amazon. Again, I am not promoting Amazon. I know that everybody has different emotions about it. Also, I'm only holding this up so you can see what I'm doing. We know as scientists that we put things on a flat surface, we come down to the level and look at it. That being said, if I did that, you wouldn't be able to see what I've got going on here. Okay? So I'm pouring, right? My 2 cups of water. I'm going to tilt y'all down so that you can see. I'll tilt you back up in a second, right? So like I said, I'm going for 3 drops of food coloring in here, 3 drops of the yellow, 1, 2, 3. Again, you go off of the color of the cap. Some of you may already know this. I am doing this so that everyone, just in case you are not informed, that you know. So if I'm doing something that you already know, just kind of just roll with it and be patient for those who might not already be aware. And 1 drop, so 3, not 1 drop, 1 small tablet. Remember, these come in multiple sizes, okay? Ah, this is giving me... So one of the pros, right? Because again, it's supposed to be a Color My Bath tablet. Okay? The intended use is not the use I'm using them for. Okay? One of the pros is this kind of fizzy action that you're getting. So that's super fun for the kids to see. That also means that there's some type of, it's probably citric acid and sodium bicarbonate in here. And so when they're hitting the water, both the fizzing chemicals as well as the pigmentation chemicals are now dissolving, and you're getting this twofold reaction, color change and fizz. You see how this is a pretty true yellow. To me, this is a better yellow than what I get with the Awesome Bubo. All right, this is very nice yellow. Okay, also this is less of a, again, this has a more orange kind of situation over here, but those are the two things compared there. Now let's go ahead and change things up. Remember I said I wanted to test not only just them in the tablet versus food coloring in water. I want you to be able to see very quickly what happens when I use it for a more of a science experiment, right? So let's go ahead and use that same 3. I'm using yellow for a reason. I want y'all to be able to see 2, 3, how strong the reaction is. Okay, how strong the coloring is. Okay, I'm putting the color down first. I want some baking soda. Okay. Okay. And since we know that the tablets have baking soda and citric acid in them, we already know that we're going to get probably a stronger fizzing. We should get a stronger fizz reaction over here. But regardless, the objective is to see how it performs in our basic baking soda vinegar reaction. Now for me, y'all know I don't do anything basic. So that's why I'm adding the shaving cream. We know that shaving cream adds a another level of excitement for the kids, because you're getting an additional, you're getting even more, not more fizz, but the bubbles are captured by the surfactant. Okay. Baking soda vinegar, obviously it's a smaller amount of the liquid, and now you're getting something that looks a lot more yellow. Okay, there we go. And again, I wanted to test out. See, as you can tell, there's more fizz here because we're using 2 fizzing components. Okay. Now, as far as the yellow, how yellow this is, you see how much more yellow this is compared to this. This is my traditional food coloring, my food coloring. And then this over here on this side was this small tablet. Okay. Now, you see how on this side the actual foam has pigmentation, which is more entertaining for the children. On this side, the foam is still white, and the liquid on the bottom is yellow. Now, for me, I like what this looks like better. Let's try one of these larger tablets to see if I'm going to be able to get what I want. And again, I mean, it's darker at the bottom, but the foam itself doesn't stay the color. So, I mean, I'll make my decision. I'm not going to walk y'all through that decision. I'll make my decision, but let's kind of finish up. Uh-oh. Let's see why. Our conversation for today. Okay? Because we're already at 25 minutes. Again, I'm going to do the chapters and all that for those of you who watch on the replay. Thank you. Let's see what's happening. Okay. You know, technology. There's various pieces of technology that we use to do all these things. Ah, I see what happened. Okay. We'll just let that go. So, this has been Live with Ms. Steph. Today's VEDA day 16. I wanted to try out a comparison for you. I wanted to test the Color My Bath tablets for scientific experiment purposes. Without even doing the experimentation, I can tell you now, these tablets already are absolutely not a good option for, say, coloring oobleck. Don't do it. You're going to waste your time. Well, actually, I don't want to, not to experiment. I'm just saying don't purchase them planning on them being able to perform the same way that food coloring would in oobleck or, say, slime. Or anything where you need the pigment to step forward versus to add to the fun. Right? So this adds to the fun. But where the pigment needs to function and step up, this is not that type of product, because the product is really designed so that it doesn't stain the bathtub. So obviously it's not something that's going to stain. It's something that's going to wash off easily. Now, since it does wash off easily, it could be something good, especially for if you're doing science with very young children and you want them to be able to, say, play in the baking soda vinegar situation after you've done the reaction. That would be something that would be entertaining for them. If you do that and you're worried, say you're working with children that are under 3 and you're worried about them putting their hands in their mouth, I would leave out my booster. And you know my booster is either soap or shaving cream. My bubble booster, right? I would leave that out because you don't want them to eat it. If they eat these things, again, this product obviously is designed that if it accidentally gets in a kid's mouth, it's not going to make a child sick. Do I encourage you to test it that way? Absolutely not. We don't put things in our mouth. But if you're looking for the pros and the cons, right? So let's go for pros. This is, I don't know that this is necessarily easier for me to carry around in comparison to my food coloring. But it is easier. It's going to be less messy if I'm wanting students to use it in a group. I have more control. Thinking of it as an instructor, I've got way more control over how much they're putting in, instead of trying to put, say, a whole bottle of food coloring on it and instructing them to add 3 drops. Any after-school STEAM instructor could tell you that becomes real special. For those of you who don't understand why that's such a big deal, if you know, you know. Okay? I'm not going to belabor that point. But yeah, so it's easier to control. It's definitely going to wash off hands because that's the thing. It's something that's pretty safe. It fizzes. Cons. If you wanted to step forward and really give you this high quality pigment, that's not what you're getting. You're getting cute fizz. Cute colored fizz. Okay? Also, like I said, to transport it, they already come mixed in another. Oh, see? That was with the big tablet. So it takes a little while to dissolve, which is a con if you're not using it in the bathtub, right? I'm not using it for its proper purpose. And so I want it to dissolve and change faster. At the same time, if this is sitting at a science table and a kid comes by after it's sat there for a while, this is going to give me a pretty long lasting display, because it's going to take a while for it to dissolve. All right. Whereas my traditional food coloring will color the bubbles and all that type of stuff, but it's once the reaction is done, it's done. There's no fizz that's sitting around for another. I mean, this will probably fizz for. It's been a good 5 minutes already. All right, so anywho, we are already over 30 minutes, and I try to not keep these videos too long. On the back end, I'll put the chapters in and all that type of stuff. But it's been fun hanging out with you all today. Tomorrow, we will have a VEDA Day 17, okay? And I will actually be reviewing. I'll do another unboxing. I will be opening this. This I got the same day that I got the Model Magic, because I was going around doing different things. Actually, I think I bought this the day after I bought the Model Magic. And you can go back and look at the Model Magic video, and I review it and say what you can use it for. This is something new. I saw this in Blick. I enjoy Blick. No, the video is not sponsored by Blick, but I'm very pro Blick. They're like really cool. It's run by the artists that are there, and they have such a strong handle on the performance of the majority of the true art materials that are there. They may not be as versed depending on what store you go into on the kid aisle, because again, they're a lot of them are pro artists, and so they're using more advanced materials. But the kid aisle is still pretty well stocked with some things that we'll be talking about over the next couple of weeks, because as you know, I'm getting ready for summer camp. So getting ready for summer camp means I need to purchase pretty high quality, kid-friendly art materials, because you know we have a strong art component. We have a whole entire art week. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be reviewing this. This is Hey Clay. All right, so yeah, it's been fun. I hope that you will join us if you're here in Harlem, that you'll join us on Saturday for the Family Fun Day that's over at, where's that? Let me think clearly. That's over at St. Nicholas Park. The entrance that you're going to want to go to, because St. Nicholas Park isn't necessarily wide, but it's quite long, right? So you're going to go St. Nicholas Avenue and 135th Street. That oval that's there, that's where we will be, with several other vendors, and of course our host, Harlem Rise Collective. Shout out to them and the work that they're doing. We'll be hanging out with them. So that's pretty much it. And I know I've ended this video multiple times, but you know, it's like leaving church on Sunday. If you know, you know. All right. So thank you so much for watching Live with Ms. Steph. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.